welcome to this edition of Money in Motion video blog. This is Dan Perkins. Today we're going to talk about energy, and more specifically we're going to talk about natural gas. We're going to use a little different format. Many of you have indicated that you like the visuals that I use, but they're not on the screen long enough. So we're going to have more visuals and less of me to help you understand what it is I'm trying to say in this particular blog. We may change the format a little bit, so I'll be interested in your feedback. So let's get started. On Monday of this week, this was recorded on Friday, the president said that because of the rising price of gasoline, every possible, he indicated that he was going to ask the Congress to increase the tax benefit for alternative fuel vehicles to $10,000 per vehicle. He said everything was on the table until Wednesday night. Wednesday night he began to lobby Democratic senators on the Keystone Pipeline project, which was attached to the transportation bill. Even though the bill did not specifically do anything with route, it was basically permitting, he wanted the Democrats to turn it down. And in fact, it failed by about 3 votes. There's a couple of things that are interesting here. First of all, the pipeline, the proposed pipeline, was to deliver oil sands and shale oil from Canada to refineries in Texas. At least benefit to us was we would be reducing the amount of oil coming from the Middle East and Venezuela and other countries who may not necessarily be friendly with us. What most people don't know is that the jurisdiction, the political jurisdiction over this pipeline was in fact the U.S. State Department. Now, I don't know what the State Department knows about energy policy, and I don't know how many geologists the State Department has, but the State Department has basically come in and said to the state of North Dakota, we're going to determine where it goes, if it goes, and when it goes. You have no say. That's got a lot of people in North Dakota and some people like me up in arms saying, how does the State Department know what's best for the state of North Dakota and overall energy policy for the United States? So we clearly have a president who is giving us mixed signals as to what he really believes in. Also this week, you may have heard that General Motors has suspended production for at least some time on the Chevy Volt. For 2 reasons: 1, lack of demand, and 2, increasing inventories in the dealerships. The car dealers don't want any more. And as a result, the government now has, the battery business is in question because the car manufacturers are not interested in building cars with batteries, and the American consumer is not interested. I think part of the problem is also the safety question that came into play with the Chevy Volt. But enough about that. We're going to do little segments here, and each segment's going to deal with a certain part of energy or pricing or whatever. I hope you like the subsets, and if so, send me an email. This is Dan Perkins. Thanks for watching. We're going to talk about the price of energy. In this clip, we're going to look at crude oil from the time the president took office in January of 2009 to today. So you can see in this chart that the price of crude oil when President Obama took office was $1.84 a gallon. And now we see on a national average that the price of gas is $3.78, or more than a double in the 3 years that he's been president. But there are other parts of the country where gasoline is over $4 and sometimes approaching $5. One of the things that people don't understand about the price of gasoline, and I did a story about this some time ago, is that the federal government's share is a progressive tax, so that as the price of gasoline goes up, the share of the government increases on a percentage basis. In other words, if there's the price of gasoline goes up $1, the government continues to get more as the price goes up. So if they've got a 20% stake, if the price goes up $1, they pick up an extra $20 in revenue. Why is that important? At the current prices, the companies like Exxon get 2 cents a gallon is what they get out of the price of oil. and the federal government gets 48 cents. So that the federal government is getting 24 times the oil companies per gallon in tax revenue. And as the price goes up, the revenue for the federal government will also increase. Now let's look at the impact of household income. In 2009, in January, the average household was spending about $980, as this chart shows, for gasoline for their house. In January of 2012, the Commerce Department estimates that households are spending approximately $1,900, or over a double, on the price of gasoline on an annual basis. And of course, if you're in an area where it's $4 or $5 a gallon, you're going to be paying even more. So that the price of gasoline has impacted the household income, because the household income under President Obama has actually gone down. And so we are earning less and paying more for energy. One thing that the president has done for us since he's been in office, in January of 2009, the average price of a gallon of milk was $3.89. And in January of 2012, the average price of a gallon of milk was $3.58. It is significant, however, that a gallon of gasoline is now more than a gallon of milk. Let's talk about natural gas powering cars. You can go into any major metropolitan city in the United States and you'll see a sign on the side of a transportation bus that says, "Powered by the clean, fuel-efficient energy of natural gas." At the end of 2010, Wikipedia reported that on a global basis there were 12.5 million vehicles powered by natural gas in the world. At that time, the United States had 135,000, or a little more than 1% of the natural gas powered vehicles in the world resided in the United States. Now, it's interesting that natural gas powered automobiles have been around since the mid 1990s. So the technology exists to convert existing cars. We have estimated 125 million cars on the road in the United States. We could, under the president's $10,000 credit, begin to immediately convert those cars from running on gasoline to natural gas. Now, that would create virtually hundreds of thousands of well-paying jobs for people to convert in the industry, to convert cars from gasoline to natural gas. All of these conversion shops could also have a natural gas station where individuals could refuel their cars. One of the concerns in the past have been about natural gas is infrastructure. If you look at the company we own, Clean Energy, there's a great video on their website that shows how quickly a natural gas station can be built. There are no tanks in the ground, and the gas is delivered in a liquefied form in tanker trucks, just like gasoline is delivered to our gas stations. So the technology exists today to convert virtually all American cars to natural gas. General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler have all announced that they're going to be bringing out this year and next year, their large pickup trucks will be available with a natural gas option. Why natural gas? Well, if you remember when you go to the gas pump and you have three buttons, 87, 89, and 93 octane to choose from. The higher the octane, the more expensive the fuel is, but supposedly the higher the octane, the more efficient the engine runs, so there's less wear and tear, and you get better utilization of the engine. The equivalent of 1 gallon of gas in natural gas has an octane of 130. So at 130 octane, all those cars would be running at a significant efficiency. You know, the government spent $535 million in loan guarantee to Solyndra Corporation to build solar panels. The company went bankrupt. defaulted on the loan, and put 1,700 people out of work. Based on the president's proposal, that $535 million that was loaned to Solyndra to make solar panels could have been used to convert another 135,000 vehicles to natural gas in the United States. Why is it important? We have about 250 years of known reserves of natural gas. Every car that we convert, every truck, every bus, everything that we convert to our natural gas means less crude oil that has to be imported from the Middle East. That natural gas will become the primary fuel for transportation in the United States within the next 5 years. Thanks for watching.